Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Offsetting Penalties, where two penalties send you back 10 yards, but people make a great show. I'm your host, Big C, and this is my co-host, RC.
Yes, got it back. We're in July now, and it's been a while since we did a podcast episode, and we're back at it. New things have changed. We have new things to cover in the NFL. A bunch of offseason moves, a bunch of drafts happened. We didn't do anything about that. We should have, but didn't. But now we are doing now. So we're gonna get back into each division. New changes like the background. Obviously, my background is the same. I still have doors. We got Big C over here. He has the background of his room, and that room is now changed. But same podcast. I was willing to change is that we changed Big C. I mean, we didn't host, but it ended up happening. Anyways, first division we're gonna do is the NFC East. This is the Cowboys, Eagles, Redskins, Giants division, and we're gonna start off with the Dallas Cowboys, the most popular team in the NFL. So, here's with the Big C. I respect you.
All right, guys. Cowboys made a lot of big changes this season, especially in free agency. We saw a trade. Most notably, we saw a trade with the Packers to get Rashad Gary for a fourth-round pick. Now, they obviously made a lot of moves. They got Sam Powell. They got Javonte Williams. Good backups at their position. But Javonte Williams, hopefully, he can get involved maybe as a good running back in their scheme. They franchise tagged George Pickens, and so yeah, that's gonna be very valuable for them because obviously he had a near breakout season, alongside CeeDee Lamb. Because after CeeDee got injured, he really took more of a role in that. They got Jalen Thompson. They signed him to a 3-year, $36 million deal. Brandon Aubrey, probably last season was one of the best kickers in the entire league. They got him back. They got Sam Williams, who re-signed for a 1-year, $2.5 million. Curtis Robinson, D. Winters, a lot of good pieces to kind of round out their roster here. Again, some decent moves, but it might take a little more than that to really push them into higher contentions. But overall, some pretty good moves all around. You got Marquez Valdez-Scantling, so a few good moves here.
Yeah. So last season, they had a 7-9 record, and they finished second in the division. And now that was a lot of good moves. Wow, those are not bad moves, right? Those are just moves, and especially because the Cowboys have sort of a area where they could take the division because the division kind of flip flops a lot, and the Cowboys had a bad season last season, and the Eagles had 11-6, so they can easily take that over. Even though the Eagles are obviously the better team, we can both agree. Even though I hate the Birds, they are a better team. Now, Big C, which direction you want to go next?
We are going to move on to the Giants next. So, can you tell me the Giants' record of last season?
Giants record of last season. Thank you for asking. The Giants record last season was a very underwhelming 4-12. They had like in camp, Scotty was like really entertaining. So was Jackson Dart. Like, oh, they're really cool, right? But yeah, they're 4-10. So, I'm sorry, 4-12. No, 4-13. Messed up three times. 4-13. I cannot read. 4-13 record, and the Giants are now looking at a rebuild. But let's see, Big C, what you got?
Yeah, definitely rebuild is what they're doing here. So, yeah, they actually got a ton of offensive moves here. I'm counting here. They had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wide receivers: Calvin Austin, OBJ, Braxton Bells, Isaiah Hodges, Darnell Mooney, and Glenn Oswiski. Yeah, so 7 receivers. They also got Isaiah Likely to a 3-year, $40 million deal. So yeah, we're definitely trying to improve the offense here. We're also getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 new offensive linemen. Obviously a few of these guys could get backup roles and good substitutions here. But as you can see, they're not trying to hide it at all. They can they're really trying to rebuild here with the entire offense. Really, other running back and quarterback here. No surprises because they need to obviously make some changes. DJ Reader was one of the bigger signings on defense on the defensive line for a 2-year, $12.5 million deal. Yeah, Tremaine Edmonds, another really big deal for them. 3-year, $36 million. So a couple other good pieces there. They got like Greg Newsome. Yeah, so they've upgraded pretty decently here, I'd say.
Now, yeah, the upgrade is pretty good. Is this gonna Does this change your mind of them at all, or it's just like a cool thing?
I think this division is one of the better divisions in football. This division is not really slouch. Obviously, in the regular season, they're obviously a lot more competitive. I'd say because the winners of these of the division title is kind of coveted because it kind of goes around this division. But I wouldn't say these changes make a world of difference. The only thing that really would make a giant difference is if Jackson Dark would take a big step forward, or someone on their team would really take a big step. But with these pieces, they could be a lot scarier, and definitely I think are going to improve from a 4-13 record this season.
All right. Well, it sounds good to me. Well, yeah, pretty much what you said, especially because Dart, I mean, I'm not really with him, but I don't know. I just, yeah, he could take a step forward, but somebody's telling me he's not. Somebody's telling me he's gonna have a sophomore slump, but we'll see. We'll see. Now, what's the next direction you want to take us?
All right, next team, we got the Philadelphia Eagles, the current reigning champion of the NFC East. Now, their signings, actually, I would say they're pretty good. They got Andy Dalton, obviously a good backup if anything happens. Always gonna have a good backup. They have Damian Pierce, Marquez Brown, Elijah Moore, and Dontavian Wicks. So 3 receivers right there, and a whopping 4 tight ends. Obviously, re-signing Dallas Goedert, which is gonna be their main guy, and then 3 others. They got a offensive lineman, Fred Johnson, who re-signed for a year, and Jordan Davis, one of their better defensive players, especially on the line, signing for a 3-year, $78 million contract extension. Yes, so that's going to be obviously that's a really hefty contract, but he's gonna try to prove that he really is worth that money. And yeah, that's all the notable things really. They also got Jonathan Jones, Tariq Woolen on 1 year, $12 million deal. He's a great center, and that pretty much wraps up the notable signings.
Yep, and they're the champions for a reason of that division. They were 11-6. They had a very underwhelming postseason. To my gladness, I hate the Birds, but they again even if how underwhelming they really did in the postseason, they're still a good team, and all those signings didn't sound that bad, right? They helped out their weapons offense, and again since I hate them so much, I get to see that oh yeah, they're still a threat. So with that being said, we'll get to predictions afterwards. But the last team we have to focus on, and I'll lead us into this one, is the Washington Commanders or the Redskins, and they were 5-12 last season. Big C shows with it.
Wow, really a disaster after the season before where they made the NFC Championship. Really dip off. Of course, a lot of injuries to their entire roster. Really, really unfortunate for them. But they actually did make some pretty interesting moves. Re-signed Marcus Mariota, who could possibly play with the injuries. Jane Daniels has gotten 3 running backs: Jerome Ford, Jeremy McNichols, and Rashad White. Rashad White, pretty good running back when he was in Tampa. They got 3 new receivers: Van Jefferson, Traylon Burks, and Delmy Brown. 2 new tight ends, and they're probably the biggest signing here on the offensive line. They had signed a 2-year Laremy Tunsil to $60 million deal for 2 years. Yeah, obviously, they needed a lot more protection on that line because, Daniels needs a lot of help there. That's going to be a huge signing, especially in that position of need, because Laremy Tunsil is a former All-Pro, and he's obviously a very good player, right? So they would want to have him for a little longer, but he is kind of old, but, obviously he's still going to perform. Yeah, they pretty much finished the notable signings with Leo Chanel is what we'll finish with. A 3-year, $24 million deal. Obviously, he was a Chief player, so we know, but he went to the Commanders and is going to help rebuild their defense a little bit. So, a few good notable signings there. I obviously think Laremy Tunsil is going to be he was probably the best signing of anyone in the entire division because he really is just a great player, even though he is kind of old, right? But obviously that help for them is probably going to make them a lot better this season, I'd say.
So yes, sir. Part where we finally predict what's going to happen this season with the division. So this division, again, we already discussed this. They're very tight. This division switches a lot in the positions. People go up and down, and it's really tight. So what I want to say is that the our predictions are gonna stand, and we're gonna ride with them. We're not gonna say what their actual like win loss ratio is gonna be. We're gonna say who's gonna make it on top and bottom because that's what we like doing. Yes, that's what we're doing. That's how we're doing
So
it.
pretty much a one
That's
to
what we're doing
one
for
to
all the
four.
divisions. Big C, we need you to start first, if you will. Maybe like say like you're 4, and then I'll say my 4, and then you. Yeah.
I'll say yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was about to say that. I think that'll be a great idea. Yeah, I think no surprise for both of us. Our first are probably gonna be the Giants. A lot of injuries, but really just the overall firepower of the team. I think Malik Willis, he is a great, not Malik Willis, Malik Neighbors, a great receiver. I think they have a good amount of young talent, but I just don't think it's been really refined. I don't think those three players, their main core in the offense, have even been able to play together a lot. I don't think their defense, secondary is not amazing, and I really don't see them doing much better than
Yeah,
what they did
I'm gonna second
this
your
year.
opinion. Just same thing
Unfortunately for the
basically,
Giants.
except for I think they're gonna do a little bit better. And then like maybe more highlights, maybe a couple more. About it. So Giants are going to 4 for both of us. All right, Big C, you're up with 3. Oh wait. This kind of feels like your top 10. I'm excited for that. Honestly, I'm excited for that season coming up because your top 10 is probably the most interesting part about the show, and I'm really excited. Like I want to see like the first week because you have nothing to base it on except for preseason. But yeah,
So that's why it's gonna be kind of hard. Yeah, definitely. Man, and I struggle between these two teams. Actually, I even threw the Eagles in there for consideration to kind of be in the mix with these teams because I do think that the Commanders are going to make obviously a pretty good comeback. But and I think it's tight because I really do like the signings from both the Cowboys and the Commanders. And the Eagles signings, they were like obviously really exciting. Jordan Davis was going to be huge, but he was already on the team, right? So it's not really a new signing, right? So I do think I like the other two team signings a bit better than I like the Eagles, but I think the Cowboys are probably going to be third. I think all three of these teams are going to be extremely close, especially in record. Probably only like a few games off. But I do think the Cowboys are probably going to be the last, even though I do think they're
okay,
going to improve
okay.
from their 7,
Yeah.
9, and
And this is tough. This is tough. So I'm going. So here we went with the Cowboys. Just in my opinion, this is tough. And honestly, you don't you just feel like man, in this division you just feel like you're making a wrong take because. But I'm just gonna go with it. I'm just gonna go with the commies, with the Washington football team. They definitely are gonna be. I think I'm confident they're gonna be a 3, just because they're not gonna stay healthy, and that's my take. So that's what I feel like. Yeah. All right, now you're 2.
mm, yeah. I think the Commanders are probably going to be at 2. I think it's only going to be by, if I had to guess, maybe 2 games. I think it's going to be really tight. I think if the Commanders can win their series with the Eagles, that they could very much easily overtake them. But I just see it's going to be kind of hard. I do like Larry Tunsil, and a lot of their actually picks that they got in free agency that I think are going to be pretty useful to the team. But I just think that they defensively are, you know, they're kind of all right. Maybe they can flame some of that, former glory a few years ago. But last year it was rough last year. So I do think that
Yeah.
they will
So
probably not be the
yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. Well, I don't agree with you, but I
this
see
year.
I see what you're saying. So what I'm gonna say is, I think the Cowboys are gonna be top. They're gonna be in the 2. So that means I'm gonna put the Eagles number 1. And I hate saying that, but that's the facts in my opinion. I just don't think I can bet against the Eagles, especially because you know what happens when the Eagles play the Cowboys. I keep rooting for the Cowboys against the Eagles because I want them to win because the rivalry's kind of cool, but it's not a rivalry anymore. Really, it's like not really competitive. Even if the Cowboys do win, it's like okay, well,
It's
because they hate each other. Because they
it's
hate
still
each other,
competitive
and Jalen
between
Carter
those two
spit on
teams
him
'cause
last year. But
absolutely.
like real hatred is means like you and I win, and then like we battle, right? Like it's like like a true rivalry. And I'm put the Cowboys number 2, and then put the Eagles number 1. They are a team to be reckoned with, and I think they're 11-6 this season. They're gonna be better than that next season. And that might sound like, well, that's pretty obvious, right? Because they're a pretty good team, right? But I'm just not gonna try to be different for different sake, right? I could have said the Washington Commanders are gonna come back and be amazing, but no, I'm just gonna play it safe and pick Eagles because I don't be wrong because I think that's what I actually think. but I hate saying that. All right, now, Big C, what's your number one team?
Well, it's gonna be the Eagles. I think that you know. Well, yeah, I do think that with the loss of AJ Brown, it's gonna affect him pretty
More tight ends
harshly
help.
here. Especially because as well. Yeah, I do think that having more bodies
yeah,
they need to replace AJ Brown's volcano. Yeah, it was big. Yeah, I think nowadays for the Eagles, it's gonna be give Saquon the ball, and every 10 plays will
and have
do
those
one
tight
thing
ends
to
walk
his
for
feet.
the catches. All right,
Mhm.
for the catches. All right. Not everyone. Yeah. Well, that's
Yeah,
your
so
predictions. Yeah.
5 passes, only 5%. Yes, so it's gonna be interesting to watch how they game play without their 1v1 demon. It should be fun to see how they kind of work
Yeah.
around.
Well, if you went to your
Obviously,
team,
AJ didn't have the
but the
best
Eagles
season.
are still pretty good. They did lose, but like, I, I think I do think the Eagles aren't going to digress though. I don't think they're going to digress. And again, like I hope they do, but they're probably not. And that's what I think. So that's our predictions for the NFC East. This division is very well. You said it's one of the best in the league. I disagree. In my opinion,
It's not the
in my
best. It's
opinion, it's
probably
like
not
four.
like
Now
top
the
three.
real best
Oh,
division, and one of the real best divisions in this league is the next
might
week's
be like
division we're
four.
going to cover, which is the NFC North, which is the Packers division. You know what we're talking about. They have a lot of great teams, and I think they don't. They have like more of a I feel like full right. But the funny thing is, one thing I gotta say that the Giants. No, only Chicago. Like, don't.
Yeah, sorry to leave
It's
Chicago.
not
Yeah,
official yet, but
that
still.
was some pretty breaking news. Obviously haven't done a we obviously haven't done a podcast in a minute, but that doesn't mean we obviously heard about
Yeah.
some of the more important things. Obviously, yeah, obviously we didn't really mention the draft too much here because we don't really watch college too much. But we'll be there week one to see how all these rookies play, and we'll be highlighting them more in the midseason to see how they've been doing. Yeah, so we'll be kind of keeping an eye, especially on the rookies, to see what all the fuss was about during the draft, right? So yeah,
NFC North. NFC North.
with
Yeah.
that division gonna be great. I do think, yeah, NFC
Yeah.
North, I think
You guys, before not being there, I know the sponsors want us back, and I know the other people have been asking for us, and we heard you guys. We're excited to talk about your teams, my team. I mean, yeah, like we got a lot to talk about because obviously, like we didn't just lose. We lost like the USA team, man, and that's because I just had to sit there fall and winter losing, and then the summer we lose there. So yeah, well, that's okay. What is this? We apologize for being gone. We're back. We're gonna be back next week. We're excited to be back. Let's see, like Big C. Listen, I apologize. You're a really good host, and I'm glad that you're the off-season guy. All right, that's where you are. I'm the in-season guy. I got the prediction sheets, and you're the off-season guy. So in-season, I'll be more of a talkative point, but I think Big C got this. He's the guy. So
yeah, we got 7 more weeks of content and 8 more weeks to produce it out. Hopefully the editing we're gonna make sure it continues to be decently sharp. I do think that maybe this year the editing will few more cool edits, like how we were experimenting. We were actually experimenting a little bit in the off season with some of the later videos to see, what changes we can make to kind of improve the videos, right? Yeah, into the get into, especially in the Rams division. I know, yeah, because they did some big moves, but we'll get there when we get there. And RC, can you hit us with
our verse of the day comes from Psalm 77, verse 12. I will ponder all your work and meditate on your mighty deeds. That was a great verse. I love that verse. They're great. I'm really glad to be back. Something I want to say is that I promise that if need be, we will do 2 podcasts a week to try to get back on track for the Brewer divisions if we're busy. And one thing I promise, before I go, no more AI, all right? No more the videos. If it does happen, Kyle can play me. Big C can play me if that does happen again. No more AI, all right? So, that won't happen again.
it is. AI is not a problem, guys. AI is not a problem.
I love you guys. Gotta be back. So, Big C, send us off.
Yep, that's pretty much what we had. that was a send off. So we'll see you guys later next week. Tuesday. Well,
Bye.
actually, you guys probably see this on Wednesday. But yeah, should be fun. See ya.